Every city you burn, I'm gonna build one high.
Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden, and it is May 26th, YC128. The track has been extended. The faction destroyers are in the game. Let's talk about it. This is the EVE Universe Show. Welcome, 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 guys. We do have a lot to cover today. We actually just had a last-second edition where they did add in a new video for the Cradle and War focus. So, no. I certainly am not willing to overspend for an Arkas Navy issue at the moment. If you can sell it to somebody for that much, you should do so. But okay, so we've got the details about the patch to go over, and then we also have the Cradle of War and focus to cover. And I have the personal goal of seeing if I can find enough sites or do enough stuff to be able to make my own or get the BPC. Finish the track today. We'll see how well I can get it all done. But first, we're going to cover the patch notes because I do have some pretty practical advice to anyone who is trying to finish the track or maybe now just jumping into it with the rewards and all that kind of stuff. We've talked about it in previous episodes, but I do have a couple of tips for people, especially based on the changes from today. So let's jump into it with the patch notes. We also have the official announcement of the Capsuleer Day intensifies. We'll just read this real quick first, actually. So we have the war between the empires is raging like never before. Concord safety measures have collapsed, and the conflict is casting an ever-expanding shadow across New Eden. The mayhem is about to ramp up as even the new Warpath Capital Mayday sites have reached high sec. The seasonal reward track for Capsuleer Day 23 Warpath has been extended, so you can keep going with more skill points, Warpath Operational Intel, a Skinner component, and Warpath Command Intel, which can be traded in for the brand new Navy Destroyer BPC. Now, this has been one of those things that has been, there's been a lot of consternation about this morning. I do want to talk about my thoughts about this in a second, but we're just going to keep plowing through all of this for now. This means that during the event, you can get your hands on these powerful new hulls well in advance of the Cradle of War expansion coming on the 9th of June, when they'll be introduced to New Eden at large. After Capsuleer Day 23 wraps up on the 2nd of June, there will be no way to get these hulls until the Cradle of War launches, so this is your chance. The regular reward track also offers SOCT ships, skill points, and much more, so if you haven't finished it, you still have time. The distribution of challenge sites are about to be expanded as well. The Warpath Capital Mayday Titan support site, which has previously only been available in low sec, is now appearing in high sec as well. It is a rare opportunity for Capsuleers to witness a Titan firing its Doomsday weapon in high sec. The same goes for the Warpath War Grid combat sites for the Tech 2 battleships and below, as well as the Warpath Strategic Infiltration Exploration sites, which have been spread from low sec to high sec. A new seasonal challenge chain has also been introduced for tackling the Capital Mayday site, so lend your support to defending an Empire Titan and get rewarded with ISK and seasonal points when your Titan fires its Doomsday. Capsuleer Day 23 Warpath offers activities across combat, exploration, industry, and mining, and with challenges suited for both newer pilots and veterans hungry for greater risk. If you haven't already, you should check out the updated community fittings, which can help you crush objectives in Capsuleer Day 23. There are plenty of amazing community guides to help you out. Lastly, don't forget to take advantage of the great offers on the EVE store, which you can save big on amazing Capsuleer Day packs. The packs are not that amazing, but some of the discounted ones were, featuring new Empire skins in the New Eden store, which you can snatch up classic police skins for a limited time. And that is it for that. And then in the patch notes, we get some extra details. A lot of people think that the final reward is a ripoff. I actually think it's kind of interesting. I personally feel that this is better than what I had suspected. Now, I will admit that to my bias, I'm not like the raw ISK value of the final reward isn't the thing that gets my attention or doesn't get my attention, if that makes sense. So during the precursor events to the Shadow Wars. There was like the hacking and mining stuff that was going on in LowSec, and participating in that was the way to get early access to the Navy frigate BPCs. So this is not the exploration Navy frigate BPCs, like the Magnate Navy issue, the Imicus Navy issue, et cetera, et cetera. So there is like definitely precedent for this. And then like, for instance, the Crimson Harvest did have just a random Blood Raider BPC as the final reward. So that could have easily have just been the, you know, the crew or something like that. Although it could have been a Moloch for some people. But other advanced tracks have done things like giving you one of the officer mods, which is what I thought they were going to do for this one. Or like the Drifter plug suit. Everybody got an extra copy, or the copy of the Drifter plug suit, I think it was, for the Drifter extended track. So like there have been really cool rewards for the extended track. This is definitely, as far as just raw ISK goes, this isn't like the big investment thing, but I actually think that that's interesting to me, because so it does a couple of things. One, my thought was it will just allow you to get an officer mod, right? You know, in the sense that you can now turn in things for officer mods. I figured, like with the last one, they gave you the 4 intel, which was enough to buy 1 officer mod. So I figured that maybe they'll just do it so the gold token gives you an officer mod too. But while I think that people might have been happier with that because of the fact that it would have been worth more in theory, these destroyers, like, unless you can sell them right now, they're not going to be worth, they're going to be worth like maybe 20 million in like 3 weeks, 3 weeks, right? But right now, they're potentially worth a lot more than that just for their premium value, right? Now, the thing about that I think is actually cool here is, first of all, I like the fact that there are interesting ways of introducing the ship to get it out there early. And so there is a certain value to it right now, even though you can calculate it and you know that in like 2 or 3 weeks it's going to be worth only 20 million. There is a certain sense of a premium value to it right this second. And in fact, that premium value can be reflected in the market. We should actually jump into the market. Let me actually log out here. Let me dock up here real quick, and then we'll head to JITA, because I'm curious to see how much these things are going for at the moment. But the thing is that, like, yes, it'd be cool if it was something that we could sell for a lot of ISK. But again, my bias, I'm not actually interested in something that's just, I'll stash in a box to save for a bunch of ISK later on. I've got plenty of those. The idea that it is an opportunity to kind of seed these into the market, I think is actually pretty cool and interesting. I think it's interesting to get these faction ships out there early, even if some of the people feel a little bit ripped off for it. But more importantly, I think it's actually kind of interesting because, so whenever a new ship comes out, right, there's this rush to be the first ones to market, because there's this super high premium for being the first one, right? And we're still going to see this for sure with like especially the carriers. You know, they're going to start out, you know, the very first one is going to sell for an insane amount of ISK, 20 billion plus probably. And even when it comes to like Navy battle cruisers or anything like that, the very first ones that roll off the market usually sell for an obscene amount of money, because there's always somebody who's willing to spend way too much for the first one, right? And so under normal conditions, like if everyone would know, okay, well, it's coming out on the 9th. And so on the 9th, you would log in, you would already have your LP like I do. I would just buy the stuff, probably in Valor, then immediately rush it over to Botane and throw it in to build it and get it to JITA to be like one of the first ones, right? That would be the typical thing with basically any new ship that's introduced. This actually takes the teeth out of that, right? So on the 9th, people are going to like you basically just properly start using the destroyer or not. That initial rush of the high value earliest build pieces are going to already be like taken care of right now. Right now we're going through that initial rush, right? And so I think that's actually kind of cool, because you could have already had LP built up, but you couldn't already have built the track. So while I acknowledge the fact that, like, on its surface, it feels like a little bit of a disappointment, especially with some of the other things that we've been set up for. And I actually think that the real answer should have been some other piece in that final drop. For instance, not only do you get the Navy issue destroyer, but you also get the skin for it, or you get a random Geno, or something to make people feel better about the fact that their thing that they worked so hard for is going to basically expire in its value in a couple of weeks. I think it's really cool that they introduced it in this way, but I feel like there could have been something else in the box with it to make people feel a little bit better about it being the final reward. Because it's one of those things that's cool in like a meta level. Like for the sake of the game, it's cool for this to be a way that it's being introduced. But for the sake of the players, and specifically the people that are working on this track, it's definitely not so cool. So it's not as attractive. I also think it's hilarious that, yes, everybody got an Eve mail from the military commander of, I believe, their birth empire. I think that's the actual answer. So if you're Caldari, you get one from Hikatorigo. I got one from Serdenso Kosh, which, by the way, means that all 4 of those NPCs are now in the game and have their own histories, which is kind of cool. But it is funny that Zerdan Sarkosh's message was wrong for me. Hold on. Oh, shoot. Maybe I didn't get it on this character. Hold on. I switched characters. Yeah, I didn't get it on this character because I didn't do anything on this character. But I did get a message from Zerkosh, but that he was telling me that I should continue to support the Republic, which is pretty funny. I think that that's actually just a typo. At first, I thought it was like, oh, maybe it's because I was born a Mar, but I did stuff for the Mimitar Militia. But I talked to other people in like Rookie Chat and the event chat, and it seems like it's just Zerkosh got confused as to what side he's rooting for, maybe. Maybe he just thinks of the Empire, the MR Empire, as a Republic for some reason. I do think that, yeah, an early adopter skin or something like that would have been, in my opinion, the correct answer. But either way, let's look at this real quick. So we go with Algos Navy issue. The Algos Navy issue is currently going for 190 buy, 21 sell. Or sorry, other way around. Sorry, 21 buy, 193 sell. So like the buyers are clearly just trying to get on people that are trying to sell it off. And that's probably closer to, let's just look at the Catalyst Navy issue. The Catalyst Navy issue goes for 18 million right now, sell. So I would expect that it'll be basically the same. We can check. So the Catalyst Navy issue takes 80k trit, 10 auto integrity, 5 life support backup. The Algos Navy, oh gosh darn it. The Algos Navy issue let's see, 80k 10.5, 80k 10.5. So yeah, the Algos Navy issue will likely cost basically roughly the same amount as the Catalyst Navy issue, which is sort of what we predicted. So I just wanted to triple check to make sure that it was the same. You know, we got to validate our assumptions around here. So yeah, chances are these guys, like anybody who's selling to a buy order, is going to be really sad, but the sell orders are about 193. I don't know if we're going to see, yeah, so it looks like There's been a few that's been bought already. One person was willing to pay 200 million for it. That's the Algos Navy issue. Let's try the Dragoon Navy issue. The Dragoon Navy issue has not been bought or sold yet. Currently has sellers for 300 million and buyers at 100 million. You know, maybe too early to tell, but that does seem like there's a lot more support for the Dragoon Navy than the Algos Navy. Amar Mill boss telling Empire to support the Republic is gloriously awesome. Yeah. The Algos one is what? Can I check what about the Algos one? We just checked the Algos one. Probably some lore hidden in the corporation histories of those leader NPCs. There is. Yeah, we just checked. The Algos one was the first one we did. So the Algos has 193 sell and 21 buy. And then Corax, the Corax Navy is sitting at, definitely not as beloved as the first two. We have a 90 million ISK sell and 20 million ISK buy. And then the Talwar, which from my understanding got done dirty. Oh, not very many people are selling this one of all these. And now these are in JITA, so we might be able to find other ones in other trade-ups. It might be just that the Algos Navy issue is easier to have completed and gotten to JITA in time, and then Dragoon Navy issue, Amar is much further away. So that could be a reason why. But yeah, people do not... Are people even buying this yet? Oh, wow. Okay. Well, at least one person bought a Tal War fleet issue for 500 million ISK. So, yeah. If we look up Zerkosh, you guys were talking about, is there lore stuff in the histories? There are. For example, I was actually very pleased by the fact that there was enough attention to detail, because there was a chunk of time, this period of time from 2013 to 2022, that Zerdan Zerkosh was the delegate by the Amar towards the inner circle of the Amar. So, you know, if you go back and read the New Eden News and stuff, Zerkosh was a big piece of all of this. This is actually a huge thing, because there's a big conspiracy connecting Zerkosh with military intelligence, with Amar military intelligence, with Concord, and with Edencom, right? In the story Sine Wave Omega, Zerkosh is talking to the Inquisitors that are the main characters of Sine Wave Alpha and Omega, and basically is tapping one of the guys for a secret project, and that not that guy, but the other guy that he was reporting to ends up as the head of Edencom intelligence. And also Zerkosh is allegedly a big reason why Kasia Valkanir got her job as the head of Aegis. Kasia Valkanir, seen as a Mimitar, who's kind of seen as a traitor to her family, when she joined Concord and helped them against the Mimitar in the Battle of Tears, I think is what it's called. Either way, my point is Zerdan Zerkosh is up to his elbows in lore and conspiracy theories when it comes to the Amar intelligence, Concord, and even a little bit with like the Kaldari stuff with Arcade K and stuff. I've talked about him a few times before. I think I even made a whole lore video about him at one point. Heike Torigo worked as an exotic dancer for the Mercantile Club. All of the pieces come together. Yeah, I mean, the other characters, we do not have as much like lore to build off of with them, I don't think. But this is theoretically correct. I mean, obviously it's correct. I could theoretically go back and look up some of the stuff, because they also posted like records including employment history, but I'm pretty sure those were for like criminals, like Tanuki, what's her name, the Garistus girl, and the angel dude. she's definitely drugged. Oh my god. Mercantile Club has grown from being a simple gentleman's club into a fully fledged political entity. Such are the peculiarities of the Caldari government apparatus. The Mercantile Club is a meeting place for diplomats, businessmen, CEOs, and politicians to make deals and discuss matters of the state. Yeah, they needed somebody to run their military operation and hired her out of the gentleman's club. Although she does have plenty of history with the police forces, so you could argue that she probably was also security for the Mercantile Club too. But, you know, whatever. Either way. So, yeah, the different Navy destroyers, pretty cool. I personally think that this is a cool thing to do at the end of the track. It does give people an opportunity to sell it off really quick and get the big value instead of somebody who just happened to have a lot of LP at the time. So that's kind of cool. I don't know. I love this idea. I loved it when they did it with the exploration frigates. The idea that there's like an early access to the ships. They did this with the Mecha Ball too. I can't remember what exactly was the piece to how you could get it, but there was an extremely limited way of getting the Mecha Ball before Havoc came out. I know this because we made one for somebody and gave it to her when it was like super, super valuable, and like she was very like overjoyed about it. Farina? Is there something about Farina? Ravelli? Oh, she's part of the Crux Special Task Group. I think we knew that already. I feel like we knew that already. You could get the Mecha Ball Mamba by donating stuff in the Power Up the Fulcrum event. That was done. That was it. Yeah, so overall, I think this is pretty cool. The new sites in HiSec has been pretty funny, as a lot of people do not understand how it works. There is... Let's go back to the patch notes, because there are some details there that we haven't covered yet. Yeah, the drifter bread. Yeah, the space bread. Okay, so the point cap has been increased. So just like before, if you open up your track, it'll be 1,500. Let me hop back over to Ash so we can look at stuff there. The capstone reward is a token that can be exchanged at Quartermaster Traders for the new Navy Destroyer blueprint copy. So again, this is, as I predicted, the gold token was part of the final reward track. I guessed that it would just be a way to get a free officer mod. I feel kind of silly having predicted that now. It seems so obvious, the answer that they went with, which is this early access to the BPCs, and I think it actually works out. Like I said, if I could improve it at all, I think that there might have needed to be bundled in that BPC an extra thing, like a skin or, you know, something to like feel good about in 3 weeks, that when your Algos Navy issue is just the same as every other Algos Navy issue. It does mean that you have to go to the correct empire for the BPC that you want, right? Like you can gain the points anywhere you want within Empire space doing the Empire tasks. But once you've gotten that intel, that gold intel, you have to take it to the empire that you want to get the BPC for. So like the Galente systems only have the Algos Navy issue, etc., etc. Kind of like some of the other rewards from the event. Now then, challenges have been added for the Warpath Capital Mayday site. This is actually kind of cool. We can see, because this means that it's a whole new track that you can, or a new thing for you to gain points for. We can see it here, Doomsday Powered. So the nice thing about this is that, unlike some of the other stuff, this one actually is designed around a group in mind, right? Because it's designed to be done by a group task, and its reward is based on how many times it is fired, which I believe means that it would work for any number of people in the site, not just for the one person who's activated the site or whatever, like with the purposes of like a kill report or something like that. Yeah, it's something for people that actually did the event instead of just buying the thingy from Jita. Yeah. It would be nice for something that binds. Maybe Well, the problem is that the real answer is a thing that's coming in the expansion, right? Because like the correct answer for what I'm talking about would probably be there would be an achievement and a title for finishing the track to completion during this event, right? And that would be the extra thing that they could tack on. Now, I still think that they could have put something in the box, like a skin or something like that. But like the logical idea, like if we were like, next time you should do it this way. Well, next time they will have achievements and titles to tie to this, all this stuff. So you could have the Algos Navy issue and your title for having completed it. And that title will remain something that you have, or that achievement will remain something that you have, regardless of what happens from that point on. Speaking of which, how's my audio right now? I keep seeing that it is peaking, but like I said before, or like last time I asked this, people were like, oh yeah, it's great, even though it was. So I'm going to trust your guys' judgment more. It's fine? Excellent. Audio seems fine. Excellent. All right, so what this also means with this challenge is that means that there is, theoretically speaking, 10 more plex on the field, right? You're going to need to do oh shoot, now that hold on. Ready? Guinea pigs. Hold on. Hobo leaks. If we go to Hobo leaks, we should be able to see 5 of 5. No? Huh. Did they not add the string in right now? Did they add in the string earlier and I just missed it? Probably. Let's see if it is on one of the sissy add-ons then. No. All right. What the hell? Hold on. What? Wait, what? Am I... All right. Well, they have managed to hide the string from me somehow. Wait, did I find it? No. What? Maybe it doesn't have a 5 of 5 and it's just a flat challenge? But it says 1 of 5. Like I don't see the strings anywhere. It usually means that you guys slipped it in at some other point and I just didn't notice, but like I'm searching for the word capital Mayday, and I do find capital Mayday, but I don't find the string for the tasks. Weird. I don't know. Well done, you hit it from me. Anywho, the point is that I would assume, just because it's the same as everything else, according to the in-game thing, it would say that the final task would be 10 plex. I was just looking up to see how many was required for the final task. But yeah, well, let me check one more thing then. No, because I looked at Capital Mayday. I don't know, man. That ain't it. I don't know. Either way, doesn't matter. Okay, so now the next thing. Warpath Wargrid, Warpath Strategic Infiltration, and Warpath Capital Mayday sites can now be found in HiSec. That's what was referred to in the other dev blog. But so basically what this means is that the battleship site, the harder hacking site, and the capital site, which is not actually for capitals, but you're supporting a capital. You're like trying to bring it the cap charges that it needs, so it's closer to like a hauler site than anything. Those are now in high sec for the next week, right? So this means a few things. One, if you're in a cruiser, it used to be that if you saw a grid, that meant that it was the cruiser site, and if you saw a complex, then it meant that it was the frigate site. That's no longer true. You now need to double check, because if it's a battle grid, you're fine, and that's for cruisers. If it's a war grid, that you're less fine, and it's designed around battle cruisers and battleships, mostly battleships, to do. So just be aware when you see a grid now in high sec. It does not necessarily mean that it is a cruiser site. It could also now be the war grid, which will hurt your feelings. Then the strategic infiltration site is the one that's based off of the drifter hive, like the drifter tower infiltration. So there's a bunch of beacons, and what we'll probably do in here in a little bit is I'm going to grab a more throwaway ship and go and run some of those sites, or see if we can find one of them just to play around with it. They are much more dangerous, but they have more cans to hack, which is convenient. But also, theoretically speaking, somebody else could trigger it while you're in it and cause all kinds of bad things to happen. So you just kind of got to be a lot more careful, especially in high sec, where other people are more likely to just barge in the middle of something. And then the capital Mayday sites, I honestly know very little to nothing about these sites. I would not mind checking these out sometime in the next week, getting our eyes on it. I haven't tried them out while they're in low sec. This might be an opportunity to do that. But yeah, it does give people an opportunity to have doomsdays, to see a doomsday and a titan in high sec. Although, again, like, I'm not even 100% how that site is designed, or how many people should be in it, or how it should be run, or anything like that. I've kind of just wrote it off when it came out, because it was all in low sec, and I've been busy with so much other stuff, so it might be worth looking into. But these are all now available in high sec. Also, the defense complex. I think that it's really funny that the day that they finally come out with the faction destroyers is the day that they remove destroyers from working in the war complex, or the battle, whatever, the defense complex. So even though the defense complex was a frigate site, it's just been true this whole time that a destroyer can also run the site. I did most of my site running when I was in a destroyer, and it still progressed the site. So now they have fixed the complex in two different ways, because the other problem is that completion of the site was not necessary for... Oh, wait, what? No extra plex. I don't know. Oh. I've seen merms in those sites. So, like, the idea was that because the track requires you to kill the elite rats and not complete the site, what it meant was that players could go in to the frigate site with something other than a frigate and just sit there and pop the elite rats as they spawned. And because you didn't finish the site, you could kill the rats, so that way you didn't lose the site, but you also didn't win the site. So that meant that you got the maximum amount of time for the extra rats to spawn, the elite rats to spawn, for you to grind out the track. And so a lot of people got frustrated because there were bigger ships that could out DPS you that would come into the site and basically just pick off the elite frigates and not help you with the other ones potentially. And so they fixed this now. So now the frigate site has an acceleration gate. So the only way to get inside is to be in a frigate. So you can't do it as a destroyer anymore. You can't poach off of it with a bigger ship. Now, obviously, bigger ships could still go in to the defense grid sites or the war grid sites and kill those elites if they're interested. But the frigate sites are now for frigates only. So there is that. I do want to point out, though, since we've been talking about this a lot, and so there is one thing. There's a big piece of advice. One of my biggest pieces of advice for the day, or things that I've learned from this event, is the idea of standings losses. And now that I've mentioned it, Sitonia is going to go real quiet in stream, and that's fine. That's fine. I appreciate you being here. But so there's been this issue when it comes to people randomly gaining standing losses while running the site. And for a long time, I could not recreate it myself. I would just go around and do sites, and nothing bad happened until over the weekend, a buddy of mine, I think it was Thran's, was doing sites in the Mimitar area of space, and I ended up getting a rather nasty set of standings losses with the Amarr Empire. And you can see here, like there's two smaller ticks, and then there's this bigger tick. Yes, 07 to Thran's. This bigger tick right here, and that's what got my attention more than anything. And Thran's and I got effectively the same ticks. They were different in quantity because we had different standings differences. You know, he had higher Amarr standings, so he had a bigger negative total because it's based on percentages. Don't worry about that part. But the smoking gun for me was when I hover over this, it says that the penalty was incurred for destroying Amarr Empire's Imperial Navy Apocalypse in this system. And that's what made me, got the pieces to slide together for me. I think I know what is happening here. And unfortunately, it may be a problem that's just going to continue to haunt us all as we move forward. So the thing that's happening here, I think, is that it has to do with how standings works. Now, as a programmer, right, there are certain things like if you're trying to optimize a system, you want to batch things together as much as possible. If each character in a thing can like initiate its own process, then that means that the number of processes that could be running at any given time is effectively unlimited, right? So the idea would be that you have a manager that batches together all of the stuff. And to that end, that's how the standing system works, right? Now, we all know, I would assume, that basically you get a standings from killing rats, usually with bounties, but effectively you get the largest single standings change for an empire, or for a rat type, when you kill that rat within that period of time, within that system, okay? So, like, if I kill a rogue drone in Pochvin System A, and then I wait like the 20 minutes or whatever, I'll get a standings hit for that one rat. If I kill 50 rats in that system during that same 20-minute window, I will only get the credit for the single largest rat that I killed during that time. But if I kill one rat in that system and then jump to another system and kill one rat in that system, I will get both ticks. It is per system. And the other quirk is actually that if I kill a rat in Pochvin, if I kill just the smallest rogue drone rat in Pochvin, but in that same window of time, someone else kills a bigger rogue drone rat, I will see and get credit for that bigger kill. What's actually happening here is that there is a standings manager that monitors each system. And so each 20-minute window or so, right, as the time goes on, basically the manager collects all of the different kinds of rats that gets killed and all of the different people that kill the rats, right? And so it batches them all together. So it'll be like, okay, let's take all of the rogue drone rats that died and all of the people that killed the rogue drone rats, and then we're going to take the best rogue drone rat out of our collection, and we're going to just apply that to all of the people that had killed any rogue drones in that system during that time. That is how the standings actually works. That's why you can get credit for things that you didn't actually kill, because as long as you killed them, as long as they're of the same faction as the one that you did kill, you're going to get credit for the best or biggest standings change within that period of time. So that brings us to, it is weird, but it is just a little efficiency to how the system actually works behind the scenes. And normally, 99.9% of the time, this doesn't matter, right? Everybody just kind of gets the standings for the ticks that they kill, and it's fine. But this has been a quirk that's existed in the game since the beginning, basically. And it only really becomes a problem here, because the problem here is that because I'm in a Minmatar site, I am killing Amarian rats. Now, when CCP authors those Amarian rats, they author them with a standings change of 0, right? So theoretically speaking, I can kill all these rats and get no standings change whatsoever, right? But if there's another player in the same system, say running running missions that target that same empire, and they kill the rats from that empire in the same system as me, that becomes the most impactful rat for that window of time. And so even though all of the rats that I killed are worth 0 standings, if someone else kills a rat from the same empire that is worth more than 0 standings, I will get the credit for that kill. And you can tell that by the fact that there are no Imperial Navy apocalypses in the defense grid site, and yet that is what I got credit for. So I don't know how to fix this. I mean, CCP could arguably fix this by basically making sure that all event rats are part of some other empire faction or whatever. So from now on, we see a whole bunch of mercenaries. Now you know why. But like, I will also say that the NPC spawning technology is some of the oldest and clunkiest tech in EVE Online, and has led to no shortage of headaches like this to the developers. So even though they understand where this problem comes from, it may be very difficult for them to fix it, other than just trying to avoid the conflict. As a player, the only thing I can recommend you do is just stay out of mission hub areas in particular. Now, granted, it should be relatively rare. It does explain why it's relatively rare, because players shouldn't be accepting a whole bunch of missions that target an enemy empire, whatever. But I believe that that is what is happening, and that's why it is happening, and why it might be very difficult for CCP to actually fix it going forward. So it's going to be something that we're just going to have to keep an eye on and keep our mind on going forward. Now, the good news is that with military campaigns and with the Cradle of War expansion, we will be getting a lot of new ways of getting faction standings. So ultimately, it's going to be less of a problem once this happens, but it is still pretty annoying, and it has led me to not want to really run the combat sites of this event for this reason. So yeah, that's I think a pretty important piece to all of this that I wanted to share with you guys. Even if every client had its own timer, so they stagger, but even more timers could sync and confuse the manager. You do not want the client to be managing anything. The client doesn't know shit. The client gets informed stuff. You do not want a client controlled system. Oh god, I can't remember the word. Client authorized, whatever. Because like, basically, the server should never trust anything from the client that it can't personally verify. The Glamorous boosters do help. Yeah, never trust the client. Because then somebody could spoof a client that, like, forces that information, and now, like, a person can just run a hacked client and get all of the standings. That would be terrible. I made a forum post about that, and Malak Starfire states to submit a ticket as it is a known bug. It's true. If you did get a standings, there have been things about it being a bug. That said, I have no confirmation that anybody has actually gotten a positive response from that, and I hesitate to flood the bug report system by a bunch of people trying to get a little bit of their standings back. I'm selling my SOE Epic Arc final mission for 1 billion ISK per person. Hell yeah. They also need to bring new rewards for having high standings. High standings is very strong. I mean, I love having high standings. I'm just repeating other players saying that they got it fixed. Okay, great. Well, in that case, game on. Feel free to submit a bug report, and hopefully people can get the standing. The thing is that submitting this bug report and getting it fixed does two things. One, it gets it fixed for you. But two, it also puts additional work on FC, which, you know, that increases the chance that they fix it long term, right? If everybody just has to be okay with the standing losses that they get, and it's just like sucks to suck, then it's easy for CCP to just write it off. If they are in fact deciding that it is a bug, and therefore they are requiring the GMs to manually fiddle with every single one that people have a problem with, then they have a much larger reason to never make this problem happen again. Reputation is a commodity like everything else. Yep. Yeah. It's the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Exactly. All right. Now then, to continue forward, though. Accelerationalism. Hey, Satonia, I wasn't going to recommend it until people, like, I avoided it, but I mean, if CCP is going down this road, or not CCP, if FC is going down this road, then, I mean, hopefully they just keep this in mind in future authoring. All right. So, 4 new destroyers. So we didn't have these to play around with on the test server, but they have added them now into the game. I don't think there were any significant changes from what we saw on stream. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're the same as when they were announced. So I think I want to do the CCP drinking game during your streams. Shh. Alcohol poisoning isn't fun. How about a new drinking game? You super chat $1 for every time I make CCP. I say CCP. No, I'm just kidding. Don't encourage me. Don't encourage me. Maybe super chat $1 for every time I get it right without having to correct myself. That would have been that would save you a lot more money. All right. Okay. So as we said before, this is a chance to get the new destroyers before the expansion comes out. So as of right now, there's an extreme premium on these destroyers. That extreme premium will go away on the 9th, as they will then be available for the standard LP store faction warfare, the same as the current existing Navy destroyers. So if you want to know about the Algos Navy issue and its costs, go look at the Catalyst Navy issue and its costs, and you'll pretty much get a good feel for it. But for now, this is kind of the way to get early access to these ships, which is kind of fun. We have the Dragoon Navy issue, which they get a lot of the same bonuses as the normal Dragoon, except for they gain this additional 50% bonus to their turrets, which is interesting because it's gonna it makes it so you balance okay, well, how much do we want the newts? How much of it do we want the turret damage or the rocket damage? The Dragoon is much more of a with this additional optimal range and fall off. The energy newts and nosses are always pretty short range, especially small. So with the Tristan, the Newt Tristan, the big concern with it is that if they get outside of 7 kilometers, you start having a lack of options. This allows you to fight well into the end of scram range and beyond with your newts in full functionality, and that laser bonus especially, and to a lesser extent the missile bonus. Lasers fire pretty far compared to the Algos's blasters, or even well, I guess rails are fine, but so they'll be able to project pretty good at that range. Overall, I'm very excited about this destroyer. It can only fit 2 launchers, and so you're forced to have some newts anyways. Kinda. I mean, theoretically speaking, you could go with 3 turrets and 3 missile launchers. If you wanted to go max DPS, no newts, you could, for sure. And its bandwidth is the same as the standard Dragoon. The Korax Navy issue, man, hold on. Let's just do it this way. Nope, not fitting management. We'll just look here. So we'll start with the Dragoon. And get rid of the Pontifex. Okay, so the Dragoon, like I said, it doesn't have it adds those turret and launcher damage bonuses. It also gains a little bit of speed, a little bit better inertia, more hit points, obviously, and additional CPU and power grid, and no changes in slot layout. So it does have the 3 launcher and 3 turret hardpoints, so you could go all damage if you wanted to, yada, yada, yada. We already looked at this one. Next would be the Korax Navy issue. Where we see... Nope. So the Korax Navy issue loses a hard point while gaining better damage bonus, so it should basically be roughly the same, maybe a little bit better. It does gain off damage, which is interesting because you know, a lot of Caldari ships are kinetic locked. In other words, only give a bonus to kinetic missiles. The Korax is one of those, but now it gets a half bonus for the off-type missiles, which is kind of interesting. As well as... Is that it? Hold on. Oh, as well as basic... So basically now its bonus for the off-types is the same as the Korax's bonus, but it now has a greater bonus for kinetic type, but it loses that extra hard point. So you're still going to lose some damage if you're going to be shooting your off-types, but probably increase your damage if you're doing kinetics. Overall, yeah, I mean, it does get the extra medium slot, which can help with its tank as well. I'm not overly thrilled about it. For the Gallente, we have the Algos and the Algos Navy issue. So the Algos Navy issue likewise gains a bonus to damage. So it has a bonus to drones and hybrid tracking, but now it also has a damage bonus added to that tracking bonus. So, you know, 50% additional damage from its turrets. It does, once again, lose a hard point and a high slot. So it doesn't even get like a utility high slot or anything like that. It just loses a hard point, but gains a damage bonus to make up for it. But it does gain a low slot, which is going to help with its armor tank and or damage with that. And the other interesting thing about this is that, hold on, it has this, the stasis webfire bonus factor for velocity decrease and hit points. Now, they did just buff the web drones, but in doing so, they also made some of them more vulnerable to attack. What I think is cool here is that this means that your web drones are going to get a bonus to hit points from, I believe, they should get a bonus from the top bonus and the bottom bonus. So they get a 50% bonus to hit points and damage from the top thing for being a drone, and then an additional 50% hit points for the stasis webifier drones, as well as the effectiveness of their webbing. And this also comes with the velocity increase to make those web drones real fucking fast. How this interacts, how these two bonuses interact with each other will still require testing. Yes, they stack. Okay, so Satonia confirms that they stack. So then my other question would be, do they stack on the hybrid Webifier drones? Because if they work on the hybrid drones that have webification, then that means that they're going to go even faster while still getting that extra damage and everything and the extra webbing effectiveness. You believe so? Excellent. Well, we can, I mean, like, at some point we'll probably test it, or somebody will test it, but that is interestingly strong. Now, right now, there is no new ways of generating new of the hybrid Webifier drones. In theory, the rogue drone fabricator sites are coming back to wormhole space, but they haven't mentioned when. They haven't said that it's part of the expansion yet. And we're not even 100% sure whether or not the same things will drop in it. So we don't 100% know right now whether or not the Webifier drones will be easily too accessible again. Orb Weavers are still a bit too expensive, but maybe when the rampant sites return to wormhole sites at some point. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm suggesting. And I don't know yet what will happen, but you know, the clear path forward is that the rogue drone fabricator sites come back to wormhole space. The Webifier drones are in that, and therefore the value of them will be pushed back down. But as of right now, if you want to just, like, say, blitz Exordium level 1 missions in a Algos Navy issue with webification drones, go on it. Hold on. Orb Weaver. Is Orb Weaver the frigate one? Yeah. So you would be using 3 Orb Weavers and then the medium one, because so the other interesting thing about the Algos Navy issue is that unlike the Dragoon Navy issue, it actually gets a larger drone capacity. So it has the same drone bandwidth. You're going to have, you know, this is one of the big differences between the Dragoon and the Algos, is that the Algos gets 2 medium drones, 3 light drones, and a max flight, where the Dragoon is locked to 5 light frigates if they want a full flight. What's interesting about this is that historically, traditionally, you know, whatever, Gallente have better bandwidth, a bigger amount of drones or more powerful drones that it can deploy in a full flight. But Amar have the bigger drone bays. In other words, more flights of drones, even though their drone bandwidth is lower. And this has kind of been the balance between Amar drone boats and Gallente drone boats. But this breaks the convention, because if we go here to the Amar, we'll see that the Dragoon Navy issue has drone capacity. So the Algos has 60, the Dragoon Navy has 75, same as the Dragoon, but the Algos Navy issue has 100, which means that the Algos Navy issue can actually field more flights of drones than the Dragoon Navy issue. People have suggested that the reason why this is because Algos will want to carry that extra flight of web drones, and because you're not expected for every Algos 8 Navy issue to be using the hybrid ones because they're so expensive, you know, you would want that to be a spare set of drones. And so the Algos Navy issue ends up with a larger drone bay to capitalize on its web drone bonus. Just weird, but it is what it is. And then finally, we have the Talwar and Talwar Navy issue. Much bigger change in here. The Talwar fleet issue, my bad. Talwar fleet issue loses 2 hard points, but gains half again as much bonus to light missiles and rockets rate of fire, and gains that application bonus, the explosion velocity. So it's going to apply a little bit better, but that reduction or that increase in damage doesn't quite compensate for the number of hard points that got changed. So I think that the Talwar fleet issue is still supposed to do a little bit less damage than a standard Talwar. We could check that if we want to. That is why it was added, to make the opportunity cost of web drones not as bad. So you can do 2 combat flights like the regular Algos with an extra web drone flight. Yeah. So normally when I do an Algos, I do my primary flight, which would be 2 hammerheads, 3 hobgoblins. Then I have my fast flight, which would be 5 warriors. And now I would have my Weber flight, which would be 5, warrior web drones. People have been complaining about the application bonus because 90% of cases they're useless. Spoken like a person that have no idea how application bonuses work or how rage rockets work. I mean, you could argue that for a certain extent that's true, but I mean, so the thing about explosion velocity is it explosion velocity or explosion radius? Hold on. It's explosion velocity. Okay, never mind. Yeah, exactly. Like if the thing is moving fast enough, like let's just look. Just for a second. Let's just see what happens. Let's put this to the test because people will say all kinds of stuff, right? So we're just going to put a rocket launcher on this thing. Something tells me I'm not going to get the track done today, or at least not on stream. I feel like we have enough other things to talk about potentially, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll run out of stuff very quickly. Who knows? Missile launchers, rockets, rocket launcher 2, and then we're going to put a rage rocket on there, and we're going to see that its explosion radius is not listed. Its explosion radius is going to be, or velocity rather. No, that's not it. The explosion velocity is 266 meters per second. You're telling me that you can't find a person or a rat that's going faster than 266 meters per second? You're lying. You're just lying. Also, a lot of AB frigates are brawlers. Welcome, Ragtag. Good to see you. The signature radius is what matters. I mean, that can be what matters, but they both matter. They both matter. If the target is going faster than 266 meters per second, your damage is being reduced. I'm just saying, like, the idea that it's not doing anything just is lacking the understanding of how the mechanic works. That's not that. I thought that I was going to get up there and it'd be like, oh, 2,000 meters per second. And I'll be like, okay, well, I mean, some frigates might be going faster than that, but that means that cruisers are going to be going faster than that. Also, one thing that people are ignoring about the Tau War fleet is that it doesn't lose fitting. It actually gains it while having to fit 2 less launchers. That's a lot of extra resources. Yeah, but for what? I mean, I guess like medium ansil maybe? I'm not saying that the Tau War is bad. I don't quite fully understand that. Like the Tau War has always been kind of the redheaded stepchild of the different Navy destroyers. So we'll have to see how it comes out long term. But this idea that the explosion velocity bonus doesn't matter just is a lack of understanding of how missile mechanics work. You're basically you're almost doubling, because if it's going from, check this one more time. If it's going from 130 to 266 meters per second, you're basically doubling your damage on most targets. Just so we can all stay on the same page here, let's go ahead and watch real quick this video. Missile application. Oh no, are they not going to show it now? Because, like, never mind. Every time I try to show a video, there's something that makes the videos not work in when I try to play them. In particular, when I try to play them on stream. I don't know what it is. Oh well. can't remember. I think I figured it out at some point what it was that was causing it, but now I can't remember. I think it's having a different window open. Try one more time. It was it. Okay. So remember, the thing here is how much of the enemy signature radius is in the explosion area, right? So since this frigate here is going faster than the explosion radius, or the explosion velocity rather, it is offset from the center. So if it's going too much faster, it can be like almost completely outside of the radius and therefore outrunning the explosion. Now, obviously, making signature, the size smaller can be very, very good when it comes to application. But that explosion velocity is really critical to actually applying the damage onto faster ships. Yes, but if out of 10 enemies, 9 don't have an AB and you want a weapon that specializes in killing the 9 others, I mean, again, I mean, like a lot of the brawly ships are going to be afterburner based. A lot of them do orbit and move around, and so, and the thing about explosion velocity is that all that matters is absolute velocity, not transversal. I mean, if you have something webbed down and stuff, there's ways of getting around it. I'm just saying, like, the argument that it doesn't do anything, I think is just factually wrong. If your entire strategy is just to approach to 0 and you're expecting your opponent to approach to 0 and that's it, then yeah, in that situation, it isn't doing as much. But in every other practical situation, in reality, even the rats, so the rats in the sites that you're trying to kill with those missiles are still going faster than 300 meters per second. The Catalyst Navy is probably fat enough for rockets to apply to it without the bonus, but it's definitely a DPS buff against anything AB fitted in faction warfare, like comets, hook bills, etc. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just, it is good. It's good. Especially when you talk about like rage rockets and stuff, because the whole point of that is that it's actually really difficult to get the full value of those missiles because of their explosion velocity and explosion radius. Like, that's kind of how a lot of these missiles are designed. Yeah, I agree. I think that the velocity bonus is actually pretty good here. All right. Looked at all of it, right? And it's also the same bonus that the Korax Navy gets. So then in addition to that, we also get fixed an issue that allowed destroyers to complete the Warpath defense complex sites. So once again, this patch note, like, it's so funny. See, FC, you don't get to take a shot because I almost said it wrong, but then I corrected it. FC is an agile development studio, which means that there's a lot of different teams that are working on a lot of different pieces, and every once in a while we find these fun anomalies. We saw this earlier with like the Pochvin changes, where there's 2 different changes that both go in that make each other redundant. You can tell that one guy, somebody, noticed that the destroyers were capping the site and therefore needed to fix it so that way only frigates can cap the site, and probably related to the fact that the Marauders also had to get fixed. So I assume that these 2 things were fixed by one guy who went in and made sure that the defense complex site can only be done by a frigate, not a destroyer. And then also the war grade site can be done by a Marauder as a battleship, right? Just go in and fix those 2 things. Meanwhile, someone else is addressing the fact that people are sitting there scoping and killing all of the named frigates in the site instead of running it. And so they put in the accelerator with the lobby. If you put in an acceleration gate that only allows in frigates, this patch note is no longer necessary. So they fixed this issue in 2 different ways, which I think is kind of fun. But, you know, just a curiosity, if nothing else. And then, so like I said, that one's fixed. So now Marauders can be used in the War Grid sites. Definitely want to try out some of those before this is all over in HiSec. The Titans within the Capital Mayday sites will now slowly orbit within the site. Also, they can no longer be remotely repaired. I do know that there is some questions about that, where like, can you just kill the Titan directly? If you can rep the Titan, then that could theoretically, especially when they move it over to HiSec, that means that people could go in and just like prevent people from being able to do the sites, or worse, probably get extra doomsdays in because they keep repping up the Titan that's taking the damage as a way of like preventing it from being completed. So they got ahead of that one. And then the freighters within the Capital Mayday sites will now warp away if the site ends in failure. That's more of a technical thing than anything. Argus Navy issue does not have a picture on the ship tree. Yeah, there are definitely some small bugs. I did see that picture, that fact. Yep, there is no picture for the Algos Navy issue in the ship tree yet. I'm sure that'll be fixed tomorrow. Oh, didn't show it. There you go. Now you can see it. No picture. Okay, so. Okay, any other tips for this last week? It is the last week. We do have the final track. So if you had finished it so far, you're at 1,000 out of 1,500 like I am. Even it doesn't matter how many points you earned prior to this, you cannot be more than 1,000 starting this morning. So if you keep going today, you will get 75,000 skill points, 500 more Warpath operational intel, the Jita Ascendant Limited Skinner item, and then the final item is that Warpath Command Intel, which is the thing that you trade in for one of the 4 Empire Navy Destroyer BPCs. You do have to take it to the correct Empire's space. So, like, for instance, if you want the Dragoon Navy, you have to go to one of these places. If you want the Corax Navy, you have to go to one of these places, so on and so forth. But that's how that works. And in addition to that, as we saw, there now is the Capital Mayday site, which can be done for its own track points. So just a quick little set of advice for all the different things. I know we've talked about this before, but just to go through this real quick. First of all, for the hacking sites, just realize that you can now find strategic infiltration sites, which are in HiSec, which are much more dangerous. You'll want to make sure to directional scan the inside of it, so that way there's nobody inside, because if you go in, there could be somebody who's set a trap and try to get you killed as soon as you go in. It is worthwhile to always hack the siren the second that you see it in order to prevent warp-ins from happening. But other than that, it, like I said, hopefully we'll try to find one of those today. Check it out. But pretty good way of gaining the track done. There are exploration sites all over the place now. Yeah. The elite mercenaries, we've talked about this before. The big warning there is what we talked about earlier, which is that if you are going to do it, the further out of the beaten path that you are, the less likely that you will get those random standings losses for doing the site. So the only thing I can recommend is just get as far away from people as possible. Maybe even check with the agency to see if there's any like high-level mission agents within the area, within a jump or two, just to make sure that there's nobody doing that site. You can also look on DScan to see if there's any wrecks, to see if anybody's doing the missions. You could always just not get lucky or whatever, but that is, you know, the best way to kind of get around that. And now you can do the war grids in HiSec, so Marauder fun. The mining sites, anybody who's telling you that Pladge is not available in HiSec right now is lying to you. It's everywhere. It's in belts. You can find boosts and compression for it. It's a very easy task to complete. Yeah. The Capital Mayday site, as I said, I know very little about it. The security missions. Okay, so my pro tip for doing security missions, if you're just trying to blitz out the security missions and you don't want to be bothered with anything, go to Exordium. All of the agents in Exordium work for Empire factions that I know of. And that counts as security missions. So if you go there, then you end up with the easiest missions with the rats that basically don't fire back at you. You can just butcher them all day to complete your track rewards. Now, obviously, you can do any missions for any of the Empire factions, so no SOE, no Interbus, no any of that sort of stuff. But if you go to Exordium, you basically can do it without any real fear of any kind of harassment whatsoever, which is nice. The faction warfare tier, my only recommendation for you on that is if you don't care about the LP or anything like that, rearguard systems offer very little LP. Stable systems offer no LP for defensive plexing. So going into rearguard systems and stuff like that, you can usually find plexes that nobody gives a crap about, but they still count for your track, and any number of people can be in those sites. So if you've got a bunch of friends that are all trying to do the track at the same time, or if you're trying to do it with your multi-box like fleet or whatever, you can just have them all join faction warfare, go and run a few sites and knock out that entire track from start to finish with no harassment. Now, obviously you can go and do faction warfare properly and go have fun and get some kills like we did. I actually had quite a good time in faction warfare over the weekend. Getting some. This was my loss, but before that happened, we had this Omen Navy issue kill. This oh nope, that was also mine. And this this kill. There were some other, and this kill. So I had some fun in faction warfare. I actually had one. My buddy Bayonex, who was the, well, I think he's, well, he has at certain points of time helped me run Aileron Robotics. He actually visited me in real life this weekend, and so I took him out. He hasn't played EVE for a while, so we went and did some faction warfare stuff. And boy, did we have a crazy fun fight with all that stuff. Might even get him back into the game with how good it was. So you never know. You never know. Just, you know, take some chances, get out there and start fighting. Don't bring anything spendy. And then the trading one. Now, we're going to probably get some points for the trading one, but that one does not give the Plex at the end, and obviously doesn't give its own Warpath operational intel as well. And that's basically it for the different tasks. I think that might be it. Is there anything else for us to talk about the event before it's over? Or we can talk and move on to the next topic. Last chance. Going. Anybody else have anything to say, or we should talk about it when it comes to the event? Am I forgetting anything or missing anything? Is there like a known issue thing? You got your Nalgos a bit ago. It is kind of sad that there is no Algos. Well, that's the other thing, is I don't like the fact that there are no skins for the Navy issue stuff first. I really do feel like they should have come out with, like, maybe even just like the Navy, well, no, because the Navy issue skin would just look the exact same. But like some sort of skin should have been part of the box, in my opinion. But let's see, is there anything in the known issues? Let me just double check real quick. Oh, there is the police skin, although police skins, well, but we've talked about that before. But it is true, if you go into the New Eden store, which may or may not work right now. Yeah, it does. You can pick up the police skins. They're not always on sale. Or they're not always available. Right now, they're on sale. They are some of the nicest skins like that CCP sells, because they've got cool effects on them. Also, don't forget your 15,000 skill points for logging in on Tuesday. I think that's it, right? Yeah. Oh, if they had come out with the Algos police skin, Algos Navy issue police skin for the Algos at the time, that would have been dope. Hey, what's up? What got buffed? Wait, what got buffed? Who got buffed? The police skins? All right. So what we're gonna do? How did the police skins get buffed? That's kind of an interesting statement. What we're gonna do is get something a little bit more expendable. And a little bit less Tech 2. The Warpath site's a data site, right? The trading line has 10 plex at the end, but no intel at all? Oh. They bling now in different states? They have different... They've always had different, like, effects. Has there been new ones? Would have been World Channel if they bundle the Syndicate Sin for the Navy Algos? Oh. Wow. That would have been hilarious. That's true. They used to only bling when warping and coming out of warp. Oh, okay. So now they do it at different times too? That's probably good. Okay. Let's see. No. There it is. And we got drones. Now I just need to get out of this clone. Where's my nearest cleanish clone? Nowhere? Where's this? That's not close. Also not close. All right. Well, looks like I'm going in my skirmish command link. All right, let's go ahead and try to find some sites. And once we get started, I'm going to put on the video so we can watch it at the same time. Now, I imagine I'm going to get fucking copyrighted for the music that they play on the video, so make sure to like the stream and consider becoming a supporter. And if you watch this after the fact and there is like no audio or it's all cut and weird and whatever, sorry. I'm going to just let YouTube do its thing if it yells at me. But let's set that up real quick. Wait. Ah! Where is the browser? There's the browser. There's that. We're going to put this down here. You better clean that ship and put your skin on. Yes, sir. You're right. You're right. Clean the ship. I have emblems on. You're so correct. You're so correct, Spoons. All right. Let us find a system. Is that going to be a good start? Let's try that. We will see.
Starfire, coming with the Cradle of War expansion, will prepare rookies to take their first real steps into New Eden. It brings all the new players together in a PvP-free zone, where they can sharpen their skills, connect with fellow rookies, and earn their stripes to become the next generation of capable Capsuleers.
Veterans will also benefit because more new players sticking around means more players to fight within the war zones, to trade with on the market, and to recruit to your corporation or alliance.
This new region, called Exordium, is marked as a 1.0 starter space. As you explore, UI cues and tooltips explain the difference between security tiers, allowing you to gradually learn the universe's security system.
But this safety comes at a cost. Missions, market transactions, NPC bounty.
There's so many people that I don't know off the top of my head who they are. The only person I've really recognized so far is CCP Fozzie. Am I crazy?
And industry jobs will all include a safety tax applied to any payouts, and new Tier 0 ore has been added, making mining less lucrative.
The environment feels fresh, with new structures and a stronger introduction to the empires, helping you understand your place in the universe.
Yes, I know Fozzie.
New players will also benefit from a curated set of PvE content aimed at their skill level.
Exordium includes a variety of activities, including freelance projects, hacking sites, combat anomalies, mining, lower-level missions, and homefront sites.
Because every new player passes through here, the region creates real demand. The hub system provides some new and interesting opportunities for industry, and it will become a trade hub for the whole region where deals can be made. For new players, this is where you first encounter the 4 empires of New Eden.
I am really curious. Anybody want to have any predictions? Like, will the Exordium trade hub really become a trade hub? Because if there's all of those extra taxes on the Exordium trade hub, why wouldn't people just go one jump further into Uli where those taxes aren't? I wonder whether or not the actual trade hub will emerge in Exordium or if it'll emerge in Uli, if anywhere. I'd love to hear your guys' predictions. Maybe we can come back to it and look. It'll be less than Ren's in trade value, IMO. I mean, possibly. My point is not whether or not it'll be as big as the other trade hubs. My point is, will it be bigger than Uli? Will people choose to put their stuff in Uli for the lack of taxes instead of putting it in Manifest? That's my real question.
Their stories, their conflicts, their identities. By the time you leave Exordium, you will know who you are, who you're flying toward, and why.
Leaving starter space is a defining moment where everything you've learned comes together, leaving you confident and excited to take on what lies ahead.
The Cradle of War.
I predict it'll not only become a trade hub, but will also become a scan hub. Well, yeah, you're absolutely correct about that. Ooh, I got an infiltration site. Let's see if I get killed. Hold on, let's pause that real quick. We're going to focus on this site. See whether or not I live. I'm going to go to the site, and I'm going to check my D-scan. Luckily, there's not a lot of people in local. Are those my probes? Nope, there's a heron right here. Shoot. He's going to go inside. Oh, no. Is he going to try to get me killed? Do I want to go inside? I see warp disruption probes on the inside. I think it's bad. I think it's bad in there. I think it's already ugly in there. Let's find out whether or not this heron becomes a pod. I mean, he's already lasted longer than I was suspicious that he might. I was assuming that the warp disruption probe meant that it might be triggered, but that might not be true. Nope, he died. Yep. That's what I was afraid of. When you see those warp disruption probes already out, that means the site should be already triggered. So be careful. Or you'll be a capsule. That's the problem with putting these sites in high sec. Uli doesn't help rookies, though. They won't see it and most likely leave via Shapcasters. That's actually a really good point, right? Because if you're... So Uli will be a different region. So you won't be able to see the Uli market from Exordium. So that's a good point. I don't know, man. I wonder if people will drop cans that say, hey, just go next door.
Expansion introduces military campaigns, where empires enlist your help to achieve their strategic goals. Each campaign runs for a few months, with multiple objectives.
I do want to point out, so I have said multiple times, pretty confidently, that a military campaign will last 6 months. And that is based on the idea that the results of a military campaign won't theoretically be seen until the next expansion. So the idea would be that the military campaign would last the entire expansion. I feel like I was a bit too aggressive in that statement. There is a very reasonable chance, and this, what he just said there, seems to confirm the idea that like the military campaign will likely happen for a period of time within the expansion, but then maybe there'll be a period without any military campaign or something along those lines. But the chances are that the military campaigns themselves won't last the full 6 months, because he just says a few months, which 6 months, in my opinion, is not a few months. That would be half a year. Chances are, like, I don't really know how the relationship will be, but, you know, we'll have to see the details when it finally comes live. But my previous statements that it will be a 6-month thing was definitely very quickly said as a way of trying to process the information. I don't think it will be necessarily the full 6 months.
Objectives that require many of you to complete, some of which will introduce new sites and encounters to New Eden. Campaign objectives vary in difficulty, so even on day one, you can contribute and earn rewards. You contribute by doing what you already do: mining, manufacturing, running missions, hacking, capturing faction warfare.
It is kind of wild. That's one of the things that I've seen out of this whole like development of military campaigns and the last few things that we've been doing. It's crazy how many people, how much negative feedback I've seen about people that are mad at new rewards for doing the same things, right? Now, I get that, like, having a special event, like, special sites in the event, and, like, you know, I did complain about this even with the Capsuleer Day. Was it Capsuleer Day? I think it was the election. I think it was the election. Didn't have, like, a special site to see just out. Yeah, of course. Didn't have a site to find. Oh, another infiltration. And I felt like that that made the event a little bit worse because there wasn't an engagement point for somebody who's just wandering around to find. But this idea that like the event is only good if there is new sites is also kind of wild. I actually really like the idea of like additional context to the things that you're already doing. But I saw a lot of hate for that. And I'm curious what you guys think about it. You know, would you prefer it if events only regarded newer stuff, or like is it good that events tie into, or like the military campaigns tie into things like the mission system and basic mining and such? All right, we're gonna go in, guys. We're gonna see what happens. I think it's good. I hate everything new. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. New things are bad. We're going to keep an eye on D-scan while we're in the inside, for sure. Although, obviously, we're mostly looking for probes, I guess, because somebody has to scan it down first. Okay, so there's the master security node, which will cause the whole thing to go get angry. And then there's all of these other things. So we've got, down here, we've got sentry nodes. Can we add these to my overview? Can we put on, oh, here we go. So we've got tripwire nodes. These are the things that I assume will be bad if I get close. Sentinel nodes. Wait, hold on. Oh, no, the tripwire node is a mine. The sentry node will trigger the alarms. No, that's the gun. The sentinel node is what will trigger the alarm if you get close. Do we have a siren? I don't see a siren, so that's good. So there's kind of two ways to go about this. You can either attempt to not fail any hacks and hope for the best, or you can go and try to shut down... What is the confinement node? Oh, the interdiction bubbles. Okay. So we can go in and try to hack the master computer, right? Hold on, people are talking. Where are people talking? Hold on. What are people saying? It's not that hard to shut down the master node first to turn off all the security. I want a reason to go suspect and high and get those wonky fights. Yeah, I can't wait for that in the expansion. But playing Minesweeper and EVE Online is so fun to watch. Hey, first of all, it's anti-Minesweeper. But second of all, so okay, when I get close to the command node, that's going to trigger everything, right? What do I need to hack it really quick for the sentries to not kill me? I'm assuming. I guess we can just give it a shot. Master security node. I mean, worst case scenario, I die and I get potted and I'm sad. It looks like it's a straight line for me to the master security node, though. This is why you want to check to see if the siren is in the site first. Because if there is a siren, you need to get that thing taken care of, because that's what summons the extra rats. I think I'm just clean to go straight towards it. What is the range on the tripwire node? Unknown. But there is a sphere around it. I'm clearly missing the sphere. Sentry node's fine. Sentinel node is over there. That's fine. Yes, get the hack quickly. The sentries will turn on when you're 10 kilometers away from the master node. All right. It does look like they don't pod, because that dude that was in there didn't get podded. Okay. Well, we're going to just go for it then, okay? We're going to go for it. Let us micro warp drive towards it. I think everything should be a straight shot to it. We're going to shut down after this cycle of micro warp drive. Going to set off all the alarms here in about now, and then I can hack it. Get fucked! The site is mine! All right. So now all the defenses should be down, right? Right? Nothing's killing me. The bubbles were launched, so they're going to still be there. But now I can just do whatever I want. Now I own the site. Oh, it disallows cloak. Awesome. All right. Well, that was it. That wasn't so bad. Let's see. Oof. Come on. Dang it. I hate regen nodes. I hate regen nodes. That's bad. Yay! Hack complete. 4.5 million out of one can. I can just go to the combat tab now and just keep like poking around. There's a lot of cans. I'm going to get like basically all, half the cans that I need in one site. Not bad at all. What did Peld say that I took? Did Peld not say anything? Yeah, it did. What, I got 141 DPS out of that? Looks like. Let's see. Oh, was that a rule of 6? I think it was. It was a rule of 6. There it is. Hot dang. I love the new effects for these new cans to hack. They all look really cool. So yeah, pro tip, make sure that there's nobody else inside before you go in. Make sure you don't see any warp disruption bubbles on D-scan before you go in, because that's the indicator that the trap has already been set. And if you go in, you will probably have a bad time. It is a reminder that you cannot bring Tech 2 frigates into this site. So it is Tech 1 frigates and below, no Covops frigates. But it does have a lot more cans, and therefore a lot more rewards and easier to finish the track with. Whoop. All right, sorry, we can keep going with the video now that I'm not distracted.
Complexes and fighting other Capsuleers.
Let's go back a little
Mining, manufacturing, running of which will introduce new sites and encounters to New Eden. Campaign objectives vary in difficulty, so even on day 1, you can contribute and earn rewards. You contribute by doing what you already do: mining, manufacturing, running missions, hacking, capturing faction warfare complexes, and fighting other Capsuleers. Every playstyle has a role.
I should probably still pay... Hold on.
You will...
I just realized I should probably pay at least a little bit of attention, because something tells me these landmines are still very explosive if I get near them. Oh, I'm also not micro-warp driving. Although they're mostly down there at the bottom, landmines are. I don't think I'm going to be in big trouble because of that.
Earn ISK, loyalty points, and standings without losing standings with the opposing faction.
That is a big one, guys. And this goes back to like what we were saying earlier about like the standings losses that people are getting for this event. It is tragic that it is happening, but the major saving grace is that there will be new and better ways of getting faction standings coming in the expansion that not only allows you to get faction standings a lot easier, but also, oh man, hold on. But also that faction standings will not derive, so it'll be a lot easier for you to get positive faction standings with all 4 empires. Whereas prior to all of this, it was very difficult to gain one faction standings without losing another faction standings. So, you know, it is unfortunate that there is faction standing loss in the current event, or like with the way that the event sites are set up, or at least a risk of it. But it'll become a much smaller issue starting with the expansion.
The stakes are real. Win or lose, New Eden changes.
Ooh, almost got
a successful campaign brings permanent benefits for the faction and its supporters.
He says, he says permanent benefits, but like the Amar Trade Hub benefit is only 6 months. And even then it's only plus 3 months for succeeding. So I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think that the Trade Hub bonus should be permanent. I mean, having a new structure isn't permanent. I mean, like, isn't a bonus per se, I would say. I don't know. I would push back on that statement. But again, that just kind of feeds into my overall minor frustrations with some of the military campaigns, which we talked about in the last stream. You should go check it out.
Failure leaves a scar with real consequences for the faction and advantages for their enemies.
That's absolutely not... Ooh, I accidentally hit F1 on the wrong screen. That's absolutely not true. Because like I said, there's no advantage for the Minmatar if the Amar fail. And in fact, the Amar still get a fair chunk of their reward even if they fail. The only real group that gets something valuable because their enemy faction fails is the Gallente gets an advantage if the Caldari fail. Everybody else is kind of very isolated. So, I mean, like, you could argue about whether or not that's good or bad, but I'm just saying it's different than what he's saying here. The sector buff bonuses would be kind of nice, yeah. Okay, this hack is
some of those
not
outcomes
great.
will last forever. You can track everything through a new window which shows each campaign's goals, objectives, and life progress alongside your own contributions, plus an overview of all the faction conflicts in New Eden. Objectives are released gradually, so whether you join on day 1 or halfway through, there's always something available to contribute to. There will be 4 campaigns, 1 for each empire. My favorite one is for Minotaur, as it has the most significant impact on the faction's story. But also, I'm biased. In Rust we trust.
That's so funny because, like, a lot of people have already said that the Minotaur one is kind of the least interesting for them because it's only like the renaming of the trade hub, or sorry, renaming of Starkminer Prime. It's like a lore. Yeah. So when we talked about this before, I pointed out that each of the empires' victories are based out of one of the 4 primary victory conditions for games like Civilization V, right? And to that end, the Minotaur's victory is the cultural victory. And so they get to rename one of the planets Starkminer Prime, the traditional home planet of the Starkminer. And also, but there is a mechanical advantage, which is the addition of the fractured site. The prismaticites will be available in Minotaur High-Sec. So maybe that's what he's talking about. I just find it funny that, like, a lot of people found that the least enticing reward, and he's the one and he's trying to say that it's the most enticing for him. Where is this bomb? Because I need to make sure not to fly into the middle of it. It is behind me. Should be fine. Should I go see how much damage the landmine does? Should I run into a landmine on purpose? Maybe not right now. Maybe in a little bit. Yep. Oh yeah. The purity of the blood skin. Yeah, Martin. Yeah, I've been looking for you. Thank you for sending me the email, so that way I knew who to send it to. As of right now, I do believe I have given out all of the skins that I have made. I've successfully gotten them to who they are going. Well, no, there's some people that haven't picked up their skins yet, but they're at least all up and available for people. So we'll be doing more giveaways soon. Maybe even this Thursday. I wouldn't mind doing one this Thursday. I'm not 100% sure what we will be talking about this Thursday, except for the fact that I really want to talk about men's Repala, like really badly. I feel like all of my conspiracy theories and hunting for stuff kind of goes back to that. All right, well, and this is the site finished. I wasn't in a fleet. You should be in a fleet when you do this site, because I would have gotten an extra payout if I had been in a fleet. Instead, I just got to suck it up and only get the stuff. I'll have the streams to go over on Thursday. The streams. Probably. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but probably. But yeah, so we'll be doing new giveaways soon. But I love everybody getting their skins and enjoying it. Please, if you can, get screenshots of it and either send it to me or post it in the Eva's Beautiful channel in Discord. I kind of want to get a collection of all the different skins that I've made and like make a thing to show them all off. Yeah. All right. Well, this site is finished. We can keep going if we want. Hold on. What is happening? What is happening? Auto streams. Okay, no, that's not right. All right, whatever. We can keep going, guys. You want to keep going with sites and just chatting, and we can watch the video? Let's go.
Through your actions, you choose what happens in New Eden. What you do here will be visible in New Eden long after the campaign ends.
In the Cradle of War expansion, each of the 4 major empires will unveil a new Navy faction destroyer, perfect for both your PvE and PvP engagements.
Hi, Satonia. Is it weird hearing yourself? Because it's weird hearing myself. It's one of those things.
Starting with the Amar, the Dragoon Navy issue combines the energy warfare, drone prowess, and slot layout of the Dragoon, combining stronger laser and missile hardpoints. Not to be outdone when it comes to utility, the Caldari have developed the Corax Navy issue. Building on the existing strengths of the Corax, it has bonuses to rockets and light missiles, while having 5 mid-slots for ultimate flexibility.
Is it possible do the hacking sites coming from low-sec share spawn with the ones from high-sec? Used to finish the activity with a certain route with alpha, no matter the daytime. Now we got only 12 cans. Yes, it is very possible. It is very possible that the addition of the infiltration site is kind of crowding out the original site. I don't know for sure that, but I would say that it's possible. I know that there's always weird interactions between sites in like faction warfare space because there's already sites that spawn there. But that is in the realm of like conspiracy theory rather than understood mechanics.
For the Galanti, the Algus Navy prowess and slot layout of the Dragoon, combining stronger laser and missile hardpoints. Not to be outdone when it comes to utility, the Caldari have developed the Corax Navy issue. Building on the existing strengths of the Corax, it has bonuses to rockets and light missiles, while having 5 mid-slots for ultimate flexibility. For the Galanti, the Algus Navy issue takes inspiration from the Myrmidon Navy issue.
So let me just make sure I understand this correctly. The selling point here... The real selling point here is that the Corax gets 7 hard points and 7 high power slots. So the Corax does not get a utility high slot when the Corax Navy issue does get a utility high slot. I think that that is like the big selling point according to FC Kestrel here. Which, I mean, is a real solid point. Like, it's not a non-issue. Utility high slots are very strong.
Building on the existing drone strength of the Algus, while mixing in stronger hybrid turrets, bonuses to decisive weatherfire drones, and an additional low slot.
I do appreciate the additional low slot. I am very sad that the Algos Navy issue does not get the rep bonus that the other Navy issue Galante ships get.
Finally, the Matari Tower Fleet issue puts a unique twist on the tower hull, combining elements of the tower and the breacher, featuring bonuses to shield boosters, missiles, and a utility high slot with an additional mid slot over the base tower. These new Navy...
I think that's another good point, which is that, you know, we were talking a lot about whether or not the damage bonus is, like the application bonus, is that important, but just realize that if you are brawling, that rep bonus is going to be the bigger thing. And, okay, no, I'm starting to see this now. So with the tower having additional fitting, but not additional slots, it has a whole bunch of extra resources, which means it can fit oversized ASBs more effectively, or more, you know, like while sacrificing less, and therefore and that gets enhanced by its bonus, right? Because it's tower. Yeah, it's shield booster amount, not speed. So that just is a direct buff to ASB fits. So a Talwar using a medium ASB or 2 would be very strong for brawling and have a whole tier of capabilities above and beyond the normal Talwar. So yeah, I can definitely see where they see that as being very, very strong, and players that haven't really thought it through may not realize how strong that really is yet. We're going to head back into another infiltration site and see what we get.
Destroyers are quick to...
Does anybody know anything about the Titan site? What I need to do the Titan site? What I need to find the Titan site? Does anybody want to do the Titan site with me? We could do the Titan sites today, but I literally don't even know what ship to get.
Slot over the base tower. These new Navy destroyers are quick to train into and are effective early, so even if you've just started your journey in New Eden, they are within reach.
Okay, so hold on. Now that we're in the site, we can see that we have a siren node. That is the number one. I need to get this thing taken care of before I can take care of the master node. So we've got to navigate carefully over to the siren node. We're going to kind of go above this sentinel. There's also a landmine over here. So I need my vector to go above this landmine, which it looks like it is. All right, let's just hope for the best. 1 pulse of micro warp drive. I'm almost high enough. We can start going this direction instead. I think that's going to miss both this sentinel and this tripwire, hopefully. Let's do some afterburner. I feel like this is okay. Very close to the tripwire node, but did not set it off. That's good. That's good. All right, now we can head towards the siren node specifically. Now I need to hack this and not fail it. This is like the biggest problem that I can run into. Okay, we're going to shut off the afterburner, settle on next to it so I don't accidentally fail the hack, and then let's go. Oh my gosh, so much rule of 6 space. All right. Sweet. We're going to break through this one. Hey, perfect. All right, so now the siren node is down. So now I've got to figure out how to get around this thing to go around the back to the master command security node. And hopefully I don't die to the when I try to hack that. I did get kind of lucky with how easy that hack was the last time. Under the wrong conditions, I could definitely see it being a problem. So let's hope for the best. Where are you? That's a confinement node, so that's going to be the probe launcher. We are going to lock this up and micro in its direction for 1 cycle. And then I guess we can afterburner it and orbit it at 500 just to keep me moving. And we can hack. Shit. Suppressor. This is definitely not going as smoothly as the last one. Wrench. Oh, I'm bad. This is bad. Oh, no! No! Fuck you! I win! I win! I fucking win! Jesus Christ! All right. Well, that was pressure. I like this site. This site's fun. Oh man. All right. Well, fair enough. Let's go ahead and start killing these databanks. Oh, think about making a fleet this time. Thank you. Form fleet with. All right. That was legitimately exciting. I mean, even though my loss is minimal if I was to be killed, I kind of made sure of that. It's still like, I mean, it's still intense. You still don't want to lose if you can avoid it. Just fly a Stratios already? You can't fly a Stratios into the site. Right? Wait, can you? I don't think you can. I want to say that you can bring an Astero in here, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, rule of 6. That was a mistake. No! Worst mistake. Well, actually, not that bad. Come on. All right, whatever. Let's see. I should be able to still do it, right? Yeah. Where's that landmine? That landmine's above it, right? Oh, okay. Whew. Yeah, the landmine is right there. Jesus. All right. Well, that one's close. Oh, rule of 6. There it is. Where is that landmine? Hold on, that looks like the landmine's between me and it. Is that true? Hold on, where was that landmine? Let's just go with, hold on, can I see, first of all, show all brackets. Will that help? No. All right, if I pull up all the structures. There's a landmine down there. Oh, there it is. Yeah, no, it's between me and it, right? Yeah, that's 18 kilometers. So I need to go straight down. This one has a lot more dangerous landmines, it looks like, than the last one did. Oh, is it? Can I use a Stratios in this site? Oh, well, great. I don't care about the tripwire anymore. I do care about the landmine. Freighters do not have mids. Well, most freighters don't have mids. One freighter does. Yep, avalanches. That is correct. This site is pretty spooky. Oh, there's somebody else scanning it down. Shit. Or, well, they're done scanning it down, I guess. Boo. Ah, double boo. Alright, fine, I'll break through this way. Really? Ugh. That one goes there. There it goes there. Oh, I guess Astero can get in. There you go. Astero can get in. But I'm almost done with them. Don't take my loot. Let's hope they're... Wait. Is that landmine there? No. Watch, I'm gonna get blown up by a landmine right in front of this person. And on stream, it'll be great. Oh, nope, he left. Hot dang. I don't know why. If I came in and saw that the stuff was already disabled, I'd definitely be like, oh, don't mind if I do. But then again, I guess I'm just a bad person? Maybe. That might be it. Alright, so one thing to think about, I've got 35 damage, so that means I have to be hit 3 times, or hit this thing 3 times, so I'm going to take 40 damage from it and 40 damage from that in order to break them. So it's this, they're actually the same node as far as that is concerned, unless you have a power-up, because if you have, a shield or whatever, then obviously less hits is good. Oh my god. Perfect. Mikopo, I read. What? Is the bow... I don't think that... Is the bowhead considered a freighter? It might be. Probably is. Wrench. I hate it here. Ah. Worst. Alright, let's go with that one. Yay! Got the right one. I just went with the one that was furthest from the entry point. Looks like that is a clean route for me. Folks can use micro jump drive freighters and daredevils. What? Might even be able to move faster, but I have no clue if the Titan sights are ridiculous or not. Carrying 3,200 cap boosters is 0 issues, but jump freighter. But but seriously, are people doing... What are people actually doing the sight in? That's what I don't even know. Like, in actuality, like, because people have been doing the site, I assume. Has there been any recommended strategies that have emerged? Oh, there it is. Looks like all of those cans are yellow cans. Was the main can a red can? I don't even remember anymore. I was too busy panicking. Oh, it was a red can. That's right. DSTs. DPS, healers, and DSTs. No, because it sucks and no one likes it. Wait, what? Did people... Is that true before it was... Like... Now that it's in high sec, should it be worth doing? You need 30 DSTs to go back and forth and about 60 km 12 times at least. Anybody want to do that today? And we want to run a site or two? See how many times we can get it to shoot. If people want to put together a fleet for it, I'm down. Otherwise, we can gear up to do it on Thursday potentially. Oh my god. Ah, restoration nodes. I hate those. Especially right after popping a shield. That's like the worst. 3. What am I supposed to do? Is it here? Oh no. No? Oh shit. It's behind that one, isn't it? Worst case scenario, I'm gonna fail a hack. Oh no, I'm gonna fail a hack. Oh no, I'm gonna fail a hack. I failed a hack. But I'm not dead because I took down the main node. All right, that's good to know. That's why you don't just assume that you can just do it. There it is. Perfect. Wait. 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 I'm in a fleet. Where's my payout? Did they fix the payout thing? Yeah. Oh, that's Plex. Yep. I did not get any payout for the site, completing the site, even though I'm in a fleet. So, there's that. Oh well. Still got a lot of data banks hacked. So I got in 2 sites I got a good chunk of the task completed. And now with 1 more site or 5 more of the smaller sites, I'll be able to get the 180 points, which will get me most of the way to the 1500. All right. So, do the Titans have E-War tenders? If they don't, it should be easy to micro-warp drive avalanches, but I'm not online right now. Maybe might try later. Does the site shut down if you warp to a Celestial and back and reload? No idea. Yeah, it's gonna be. We should play around with that site. Let's gear up to do that on Thursday on stream. We'll try to find one or something. Today, I'm not sure if there's much more to talk about. Oh wait, no, we still got to finish the video. I haven't even finished the video yet.
For our veterans, Navy destroyers are currently the most popular ship class in factional warfare, so adding 4 new and affordable ships will give players in factional warfare more options, expanding the meta.
Every Capsuleer who has ever docked at a station, fired a mining laser, won a battle, or brokered a deal has a story. Now there's a way to tell it. This expansion introduces titles and achievements. They will mark what you've done, point you towards what comes next, and let everyone you meet know exactly who they're dealing with.
By the way, can I just say, I am so impressed by the EVE community and their reactions to achievements and titles. Had they made this announcement 10 years ago, people would have lost their goddamn mind and rioted in Jeddah. And maybe that seems weird to you, but just realize that, like, so they did come out with the activity tracker at one point, and the player base was very loud and clear about the fact that they wanted no titles, no rewards for anything. It's okay for, like, they were even against the activity tracker at all. But the idea of adding a reward onto the activity tracker was, like, people hated that idea for various reasons. They didn't, I'm not even going to defend their positions, but I'm just saying, like, there's a reason why achievements and titles didn't exist in the game already. I've been arguing in favor of it for years and have gotten a lot of hate throughout the years for suggesting such things. So can I just say that I'm very proud of the overall positive reaction I've seen from players when it comes to the addition of achievements and titles. I certainly look forward to doing it. I definitely want a Paragon hub like decal that I can get for my ships, so that way I can display my corporation logo, my alliance logo, and then my title on the side of the ship, right? I need to see my title on the side of my ship glowing with Paragon points, Evermarks.
A new achievement interface gives you ideas on what to do, lets you track your progress, and pin the ones you're working towards.
So good. You know what argument I am tired of? Do whatever you want in EVE. Players go, what should I do? Do whatever you want. That is such a fucking non-answer. It's such a cop-out. And so just having the smorgasbord of all of the things that you could theoretically do. See, FC is not telling you that you have to do it. Get over yourself. They're telling you that these are things that you can do, which makes the choice to do it or not do it meaningful. As it stands, given the fact that there's no presentation of most of the options of how to do things in the game, you don't get to make a choice. You don't get to choose whether or not you want to join or help out or do that thing or not do that thing, because it's not even ever presented to you to make a choice about, right? But this at least says, like, hey, here's a thing to do. Now you as a player can decide to engage with it or decide not to engage with it. Great.
Most achievements are tied to regular gameplay, so whatever you already love doing in New Eden will count towards one. To start, some achievements will get you skill points, with more rewards coming in future expansions. Completing achievements will also earn you titles. These you can display with pride and tell the universe exactly what kind of pilot you are. Pod Breaker for the PvP pilots, Hacktivists if data and relic sites are your thing, Market Tycoon for the traders. Your titles will appear in most places where another pilot might see your name. We'll add more achievements and titles with every expansion, so there will always be something new to work towards. My favorite achievement is Ship Happens. You earn it by losing a certain number of ships to other Capsuleers. This one gets you the Meat Popsicle title. Every moment in your journey, the victories, the disasters, all of it deserves recognition.
You can tell that he low-key really enjoys this feature, which is great. I will say that one of the things I do like is, like, in the video, he has the thing put on his chest. And so to have achievements tied to medals, because the medal system already exists, but there's been a big pain in the ass when it comes to CCP. It has been a CCP historically that has done it, but in the future FC, you know, presenting medals has been kind of a pain in the ass. It's a labor of love, basically, by individual developers to make it work. So tying them to achievements could be really, really good, especially if you could somehow present them on your character. That would be a big, big one.
Anyone who has fought in a fleet fight knows the importance of a good command ship pilot. Now, with the addition of command carriers, these benefits can be brought at a capital scale. These ships are the core around which a fleet operates, providing the strongest boost and utility of any capital.
Should have been faxes. I've already talked a lot about this. It's fine. That's my overall opinion. They're fine.
These Tech 2 carriers act as the top-of-the-line command hulls. You have the command destroyer for smaller engagements, the command ship as the backbone of the mid-sized fleet, and the command carrier as a flagship, a ship that can turn the tide in some of the most impactful fights in the game. Command carriers specialize in utility over damage. Each hull can fit up to 3 command burst modules, with bonuses to all 3 of their faction's preferred module types. The range and power of these boosts are the strongest that can be found in the game. These ships also improve further on the support fighter bonuses their Tech 1 counterparts enjoy, with even greater...
Where would you display it? We're at 7 minutes and 40 seconds, just in case I ruin this. I thought there's a picture for it, right? Hold on. Yeah. It doesn't have to be like a physically attached to the thing. It's a hologram, much like the icons are. Oop. So it'd be cool to be able to display that. That's all I'm saying. Am I gonna... Yep, I have to start over. Awesome.
Game. Command carriers specialize in utility over damage. Each hull can fit up to 3 command burst modules, with bonuses to all 3 of their faction's preferred module types. The range and power of these boosts are the strongest that can be found in the game. These ships also improve further on the support fighter bonuses their Tech 1 counterparts enjoy, with even greater range and effectiveness. With up to 4 flights of support fighters, the command carrier is the ultimate ship for controlling and disrupting their enemies.
So I've been having a discussion with Malak and a few other people, just trying to think about what is going to be the best option for these guys, right? Like, it seems like one of their biggest roles is to do big hot drops, right? So the idea is that it brings other ships along with it. You know, you may not be able to afford a Titan, but you can afford one of these guys to bring your ships along with you to do a hot drop. And so, like, which of these dudes are going to be the most valuable for that? The other major value I can see is running the carrier crab beacons, in the fact that it can activate the crab beacon, but then also support the ships that are actually running the site, which is a whole other issue about the fact that fighters are kind of bad. But the question was just like, which of these guys is going to be the most effective one? And I really think, to me, the toss-up is going to be between the Amarr and the Caldari, because the Amarr one, like, if you're bringing a fleet with you, chances are you're already going to have a lot of points. The Sino could even have points. Other ships are going to bring points. So the Gallente carrier is sort of mid. The Minmatar one with webs, I mean, yeah, the web drones fighters can be good. But, like, again, ships that matter are probably going to bring their own webs. I think that the Amarr one, bringing the information boost, which increase a lot of the E-War range, as well as the newts, ends up being kind of the winner when it comes to which one would you want to bring with you as the command carrier. But I also think that, like, if you're going to be at range, the answer is probably going to be the Caldari one, right? Like, it has a good shield tank, and it comes with that information boost that's going to greatly extend their ranges. But I think that, honestly, the Caldari one is going to be the most desirable, because those ECM fighters will help you jam off any tackle that happen to get on top of your guys. If in the event that you're like, somehow your micro jump drive system gets messed up or something, you do get tackled by something, those ECM drones feel like the thing that you'd want to have with you, or fighters, I mean, to get the job done. But again, I'm not that much of a capital pilot, so maybe somebody else can let me know if I'm wrong. Going to be a nightmare to correctly cut out the background music. Well, the nice thing is that actually, given the fact that it's the same song over and over again, it might be only one cutout. I did run into a problem. So during the FanFest stream, I got hit by like four different things, because during the art panel, they showed several different videos, and each of those videos had a different song. So I had to do 4 different edits to actually get it to be okay. Whereas with this, it's going to be one song, so it might still just be able to be one edit to make it happen. But I mean, either way, that's my problem, not yours.
Last thing I want to mention is the command carrier conduit jump. These give fleets a strong option for moving around the map. Now even larger fleets can move in a single jump. All combined, the command carriers are powerhouses of utility. Any fleet will be much better off with these around, and I can't wait to see what you make of them.
Oh, that's it for that. Let us hack the master command node and hope I don't get killed. Wait, hold on. Hold on. These aren't my probes, are they? No, I don't have probes in space. I have no probes launched. So somebody else is going to come inside. Let's see what happens. If somebody else comes inside, I'm just going to leave. I don't even want to mess with it. Although it'd be funny to trigger it and then leave. Let's see what happens. look, my position when it comes to carriers is like, let's just let them be good for a little while. Like, CCP seems so scared of them being like applicable. Just make it so that their air superiority fighters are able to fight down. Like, I would argue that if anything, we should get rid of HOD guns and make it so that carriers are the capital that punches down, because that way you basically feel like you are, you know, a shit, like you're commanding 4 cruisers or frigates at the same time. Not, you know what I mean? Like, why not? Why not just let them have a fighter that applies down for a little while? See what happens. See if it becomes too oppressive. You let Titans have hog guns for a while. Just, it's fine. It's fine. Just let carriers be overpowered for like a cycle. Whatever. See what happens. I don't know if they're coming in. Probably not. All right, let's go. You ready for to try for the hack? Once again, so I have dropped off my stuff because I had I was pretty nervous after that last one. Oh my gosh. Such a bad start. Such a bad start. Oh my god. No bad. Very bad. Very bad. Probably dead. Probably already dead. Oh, shit! Saving grace! Hell yeah! Woo! Got him. Yeah, I meant to do that. Now they'll see the warp disruption probes and they'll be like, oh, that's too spooky to get into. Yeah, no problem. No doubt in my mind. Had it the whole time. No sweat. Not even a little bit scary. Oh my gosh. Come on. I gotta grab this one because there's that. Okay, that's fine. Alright, we're just gonna kill this one because it might have something exciting over here. And it doesn't. Regen nodes are the worst. Well, I mean, not the worst, obviously. Suppressors are the worst. But in this setup, that is the worst. One. I don't see any bombs this time in this direction. Okay. Is there anything else that we want to cover today? Or are we going to finish up this site and wrap things up? There have been some new videos from like Vanguard. Are they worth looking at? I haven't checked those out yet. Otherwise, we can just come back on Thursday and look at some more stuff. I guess they're just gonna have to kill this thing. There it is. Told you. You get like a sixth sense for where these things are after a while. That looks like it's a straight shot with no bomb. The bomb looks above it. Should bombs not explode when you disable everything? Fine. What we'll do is we will loot all the stuff. And then I will set off a bomb. Should I loot all this stuff? I want to test to make sure I don't get a payout a second time. But I am willing to sacrifice myself for the good of the science. Oh, come on. Oh, shit. There's an Astero. Well, I guess we're just going to do it now in front of the Astero. He'll have a show, and then he can have the rest of the site, I guess. So let's go. Let's go. All right, we are heading towards the tripwire node. We're at 6K from the node right now, which is very close, but definitely not close enough, so it's probably 5K. You ready? Six, 5, and 5. Wow. Okay. Nope. Yep. It did blow and did almost no damage. I should just stop being afraid of the blow-up nodes? Okay, great. Landmines don't do anything. Tracking. That was so little damage. Hold on. Kind of glad I checked. Logs and messages. 508 damage from the tripwire node. Will that kill anything? Those are just there to spook you. I'm just going to go through this one too. Screw it. Boom. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Ooh, 500 damage. So spooky. I mean, it also probably sets off the alarm, but like, yeah, you don't have to worry about the landmines, I guess. Of course, they don't do anything. They're not on land. I mean, yuck, yuck, yuck. Gives the Astero PTSD. I mean, an Astero should be able to tank that just fine, too. If anything, I think the Astero should be better at tanking the turrets long enough to hack the site. Because, you know, you could have resistance and good reps. Ah, rule 6. But it does mean I just don't need to worry about... Once I've hacked the main thing, I just go between the cans. Who cares? But if you set them off before hacking the master node, they set off the alarm, right? I'm pretty sure, yeah. We could experiment with that if we wanted to. Do you guys want me to? Are you guys sad that you didn't see me die? I'd be willing to find one more site and then mess it up on purpose to see what happens. You know, messing things up on purpose, this hack is not going great. Oh, well, never mind. It's going great. There it is. Uh, 16 times Anaconda and Python mines? Yeah. Yeah, Anaconda and Python mines used to exist. I mean, they still exist in the game, but they're not, like, usable, obviously, from, like, the very early days. I actually have a couple. Some people even have blueprints to produce more of them. In other words, they're not that rare. Okay. I've always wondered how to use the mines. Well, you can't anymore. That was very early Eve days, but then it caused too much problems on the server to let people just deploy giant minefields, and it was difficult to balance, I think. So they just got rid of their deployability, but then brought back their idea in like certain hacking sites like this one. So who knows? Maybe someday. Maybe someday they'll suddenly make Python mines valuable again. Or rather, usable again, I should say. I feel like I should crack... Oh, 5. Boo. Or... So it's probably here? No? No? Is it down here? It is down here. There it is. If FCU is nasty, they could bump the ship direction from damage. You fly into another mine and then another, and then you die. That is a big reason why I actually, like, back in the day when I played Dust 514, I was a dropship pilot. I love dropship pilots. I also loved being a helicopter pilot in Battlefield back in the day. It's just my favorite way. Like, I used to want to fly helicopters in real life too. So, like, it was a big thing for me. So the idea that, like, a newbie or a person can use a free missile to take me down always bothered me, since I was in one of the most expensive ships in the, or like things that you could possibly have in the game, and I could be taken down by free equipment. And the issue wasn't even the amount of damage that the free missile did, because it wasn't very much damage. But the problem was is that when you got hit by the missile, it caused your ship to move, like it rocked you to the side. And so the threat wasn't the missile. The threat was if you're doing like a narrow maneuver and then the missile gets you, nope, no payout. And then the missile gets you, you could actually get knocked into like a building or something. And that's the thing that killed you. So that's what prevented me from doing those sites. Or like, I stopped playing DOS 514 because of that. It just bothered me a lot. And again, like, okay, well, some people might see it as being just whining or whatever. But the point was is that because the missiles were free, if you were at all a good dropship pilot, an increasing number of the team, because they're free, it's because it was a free loadout, everybody could just swap to it. So the better of a dropship pilot you were, the more of the opposing teams would just swap to missiles to take you down. And then you just have to sit at like really high altitude and buzz around and not mess with anybody, which was no fun. So yeah, that was always the part that got me. Oh, is this going to be one? I still need 2 more data banks hacked. So maybe we can hack 2 of them and then I'll charge in. I don't know. I'll just do it another time. I'll find a normal site. Maybe this will be a normal site, or like the lower tier site, I should say. Something tells me it's not, just by based on. Oh, yeah, no, it is the normal site. Hell yeah. Well, if there's nobody in that site, which there might be, but if there aren't any people in that site, then I'll get both cans and then I just finish the track. And that's good. Doesn't look like there's anybody else doing the hacking sites out right now here. So hopefully they moved on before the site spawned. Bingo. Hell yeah. What streamer luck. I love streamer luck. It's the best. So we'll do these 2 cans, then I'll dock up, drop off my stuff, and then we will go and get messed up in a site. And maybe that site just spawned. Jesus. Come on, man. How annoying can you get? I will point out that these cans are easier, and I'm basically getting the same loot. I have seen people get things like implants and cool stuff from the sites, but I haven't gotten any myself, and certainly haven't gotten any today in any of the sites that we've done. I never messed with the dropship, but I played a lot with the tanks and just ran a cheap loadout, and I would easily turn a profit every time before I died. Yeah, that's the problem though, is that the dropship was the most expensive single thing in the game. And, you know, if you mess up even one, you know, like if you hit a wall, it blows up. So, you know, it was very strong. I liked flying them, but it was very costly hobby. All right, and now I have claimed that reward, so I am at 1,300 points, so that's sweet. I just need to do some missions, or actually I could just do the turn-ins to get the rest of the points, I think. So let's go get blown up. Where did I put that stuff? There. Got a Geno and high-sec infiltration just now. Thanks, Spoons. Thanks for making me feel great. Got a 703 Gnome today and a Praxis skin. Well, I'm still counting it as streamer luck because it's giving me all the sites I need. As a streamer, that's what matters. Same. Okay, well, I'm glad you guys are all getting good stuff. That's nice. That's good for you. I'm so happy for you. No, I unironically, I am happy for you. All right, we're gonna drop these in here. So all told today, I got 109 million ISK just doing high-sec hacking sites for like less than an hour. Hey, thanks for the sub. Did you get the 23 bill one or the normal CAX one? Does anybody know if T3s can go in? To which? The infiltration site, T2s can't get in, so T3s won't be able to get in either. I'm gonna hack this down. There's gonna be somebody else there, and I'm gonna have to be like, "Hey, dude, just so you know, this site's about to get really ugly." Hey, oh my God, is it going to be the right site? That'll be hilarious. No, but you tankers in Dust 514, you're right. You're able to do all kinds of stuff before you got blown up. But I was a scout in the military, so I already have a deep-seating hatred for tankers, so... Ah, it's just a cache. It's just a cache. We don't need that one. We'll just leave that for somebody else. We'll keep looking. We need an infiltration. In the army, the Cav Scouts used to call tankers DATs. Stands for dumbass tankers. Yeah. 19 Delta. Oh, there's a Thera hole here right now? Maybe? Probably? Why were they dumb? Look, okay, so the thing is that both cavalrymen and tankers are armor. So we get associated with each other a lot. Our officers, like an armor officer can be both a tanker officer and a scout officer. And so we have opinions about each other. So, you know, tankers have kind of a reputation for being a little bit lazier, and like scouts have to be clever and fast and on top of things a little bit more. And so the reputation is that scouts are, you know, a little bit more clever, but a lot more potentially dubious, where tankers are more methodical and lazy. Our slogan was death before dishonor. Their slogan was death before dismount. That kind of sums it up for you, I guess. Sneaky boats count as a scout. No, when I first joined my first scout unit, my commander, during my command interview, he said that he had been a scout commander and a tanker commander. And of the two, he prefers being a scout commander, because if you tell a tanker what to do and how to do it, he will do exactly what you told him to do, exactly how you told him to do it. If you tell a scout what needs to get done, he'll get it done. You may not want to know how it was gotten done. You may never want to ask any questions about how it got done, but it will get done. All right, here we go. Death. Death before dishonor. Make sure my sister probes are inside, so that way I get maximum death points. Okay, so just a reminder, everybody, we're going inside to trigger a landmine to see if that triggers the rest of the defenses, because there are the sensor nodes that will obviously trigger the defenses, but we want to see if just triggering a landmine also triggers the rest of the defenses, because otherwise the landmine doesn't do that much damage. We're also going to check to see if the landmine does more damage before you've taken... Oh god, there's a siren node. Well, we'll also see how the siren node works. Alright, so let's go ahead and find where the nearest tripwire node is. There it is, right there. Doesn't look like there's a scanner node between here and there. So let's just go for it. And then I'm just gonna burn off and see whether or not we can survive, even with the rats landing. We'll find out. And there's the boom. No, did not set off. Wait, never mind. Did set off the rest of the alarms. Did set off the rest of the alarms. Did set off the rest of the alarms. I've now got turrets on me. The rats are going to be here soon. There's the rats. I do have incursuses and a thorax on grid with me now. I can just burn off and like tell them to screw off, so I'm not going to die. The bomb did not seem to do a significant amount of damage, but the sentries are still able to hit me even this far out. Now they're missing completely. So yeah, I am now pretty much fine, although of course the rats are going to kill me if I get close. I can't get close, but I am tanking the site now. So it's not the end of the world if you want to trigger it, which also means that, of course, it's even nastier if you want to set up a trap for somebody else. But that's kind of how this works. Oh, they are hitting me. The sentry node can still hit me from this range. Wow. Sometimes. And I think the intervener in Cursus will point. Doesn't say either way. But yep, there you go. That's the site when it fails. My question is, will it drop another warp disruption probe? No, because there was 2. Now there's only 1. Will that one decay and it just leave no probe? Oh, yeah. Okay. No more probe. Oh, nope. New probes do come up. Okay, great. So as long as the site is continually alarmed, it will continue to drop new probes. Although, is there only 1 probe launcher in this one? Or like a disruption one? Yeah, 1 confinement node. There's only 1 confinement node in this site. Probably because of the siren node. Well, that's cool. These are still pretty similar to the Drifter sites that I think are still available in either Tabitzer or Pochvin. I can't remember which. So, yeah. All right. Well, this site's burned. Why are the Galente shooting you? Because I just set off their alarm? You ran out the mine? I took damage from the mine still. Hold on. Sentry node, sentry node, sentry node, sentry node. Nope. Oh, I guess I did. I completely dodged the explosion. Well, that's fun. Good thing I'm not going back in there again. Yeah. So I noticed that, actually. So the standard site was Caldari, the one that we just did that finished the track. That was Caldari. But the infiltration site was Galente. So, and I'm in Galente space. So it looks like the infiltration site is of the same empire, but the cache is of the enemy empire. And June is next month? Yes. Wait, what? Is that right? Yeah, May, June. Yeah. With the expansion. All right. Well, I think that just about does it for today. So with all that said, I've been Ashrothi. I've been playing this game since 2010, talking about it since 2012, and I'm here to put even to context for you, my fellow Empyreans. Thank you guys so much for checking out today's stream. Good luck in the final week of the Capsuleer Day event. Go enjoy yourself, get yourself some destroyers, and have some fun with them in the meantime. And then, of course, we have the expansion coming on the 9th. On Thursday, we should definitely have a stream again. And like I said, I haven't quite figured out what we want to do, but it'd be awesome if we can check out the Titan site. So see about being ready for that. I assume that we would be setting up from Dodixie, but if you want more information about that, make sure to be part of the Discord, because that's where we put on all of our information. There's also a Decanted channel where I post a bunch of pictures from real life, including my puppy. There's even a Decanted YouTube channel, which is you can check out, which has a bunch of videos of my puppy and some other stuff. Anything that is not Eve related that I do on YouTube will be on that channel. Yeah, thank you to all of those people who make the choice to support this channel. Obviously, just liking the channel, watching the videos all the way through, sharing them with a friend to help get this stream out there to more people. Those are huge, but also a big thank you to all of you who go the extra mile to support the stream directly, either through membership or Patreon or picking up merch or any of that. I really appreciate it. It's been, I can't do it without you guys. That's all I can say. And the guinea pigs and the puppy and the boy all thank you as well, because I can get them nice things because you guys take good care of me, and I really appreciate that. We should do some. Actually, I was thinking about trying to do a decanted thing this Friday, but I hesitate to commit to anything because that's a really good way for me to not get around to doing it. But in the meantime, I do want to give a special shout out to my top tier supporters, including 745 MPSI, Arydanika the Queen, Bad Boy Smooth, Ebo Elite, Erladis, Elange, Flash Gordon, Grims, May, Malak Starfire, Malin, Mercuton, Mayak, Morkar, Michael, Nephilim, LM1, Sheesh, Susuro, Thrans, and Rid. And of course, I also want to give a shout out to Seventh Heaven, who I don't understand why he's not on that list yet. I feel like I probably made a mistake somewhere. But thank you guys, all of you, for participating. And like I said, I think I do have giveaways. I have a giveaway on Thursday. We're going to do giveaways on Thursday. Malik, please do not let me forget that I have giveaways on Thursday. Both I have a game to give away, I think, and some Skinner stuff that we can do. So make sure to be there on Thursday. It'll be worth it. And who knows, maybe I'll even talk about Men's Repala and why I've become obsessed with him. But until then, I've been Ashrothi, the voice of New Eden, and I'll see you in space. You want to come over here and say hi, puppy? Hold on. Let me see if I can get Puppy Girl. Nope, she ran away. She literally ran away. All right, well, 07.
Bring on the wrecking machine. For every city